for Upper Michigan, David Pfaff, Carl Bonet. This is your Fox UP News in prime time.
The Canadian man accused of trying to kidnap a 12-year-old Munising girl wants his alleged confession thrown out of court. Mohammed El Fektali was arrested last month for allegedly trying to entice the girl into his car. Two police officers who initially questioned El Fektali took the stand today. They say El Fektali admitted he tried to lure the girl into his car for sexual purposes. The prosecutor wants to use the taped interview as a confession, but the defense says El Fektali was just asking the girl for directions and offered her a ride home. Judge William Carmody watched the video of the police interview to determine if El Fektali's statements were made voluntarily. He did not make a decision today. El Fektali remains in jail charged with attempted kidnapping and enticing a child for immoral purposes. Also in court, David Anthony Levac pled not guilty today to homicide, felony murder, home invasion, and witness intimidation. The 44-year-old Kingsford man is accused of killing 81-year-old Joyce Johnson of Crystal Falls. Johnson was scheduled to testify against Levac in a stolen property case last September, but she was found dead in her home that same day. An autopsy determined that Johnson died of strangulation. Levac is also being tried as a third-time habitual offender. The sale of Escanaba's power plant has been called off. In the fall, the city of Escanaba intended to sell its plant to Fuel Streamers Group. The Houston-based Texas buyer has since backed out. According to Electrical Superintendent Mike Fermansky, the consultant is now in the process of contacting the other parties who had previously expressed interest in the plant. They are Traxrays North America, Recast, Pro Energy, and DTE Energy. Fermansky said the big savings to Escanaba would be the yearly reduction in costs of owning and operating the plant. That figure is about $4 million a year.
The biggest issue for us is just transferring that plant to another party. It's a pretty big burden on the city, or the cost of that plant. It wasn't totally unexpected, I guess. We got to this point once before.
Officials say Fuel Streamers intended to continue operating the plant on coal, but they didn't tell the city officials why they were no longer interested. It's that time of year again when presents are plentiful, but unfortunately theft sometimes also comes along with the season. Fox UP News reporter Gabriella DeLuca visited Marquette today to see how people are avoiding this holiday issue.
According to the Marquette County Sheriff's Office, theft goes up each holiday season. One of the most common ways people steal during the holidays is picking purses up right out of a grocery cart.
If busy in the store, especially women shouldn't leave their handbags or purses unattended in their cart while they're either looking at other items or trying things on.
Another way thieves get their goods is looking through car windows and seeing unopened items in purses in vehicles.
If you absolutely have to keep your purse in the car, be sure to keep it out of plain sight. Make sure you put it underneath a seat or something on top of it to disguise it.
Well, I always lock my car. I'm obsessive about locking my car. And I have an over-the-shoulder bag, and I always make sure I carry it in the front of me and not in the back.
Stores are also taking precautions when it comes to protecting their customers.
We have cameras inside the building, obviously, and then we have camera coverage outside the building. We have a few folks that work for us in a security capacity. They're here every day.
Target rarely has any sort of theft in their store, but they say they are prepared if it were to happen. Gabriella DeLuca, Fox UP News, Marquette Township.
The cost to keep a boat at the City of Marquette's marinas will be going up. Tonight, the Marquette City Commission approved a 6% increase in marina slip rates. The City Commission is sticking with its 7-year plan, devised last year to increase the rate 6% a year. The Presque Isle and Cinder Pond marinas will both be affected. The goal of the rate increase is to make sure the marinas are self-sufficient so taxpayers don't have to pay for maintenance. Keweenaw students' voices are being heard due to a recent survey created and distributed by their peers. The Keweenaw Community Foundation's Youth Advisory Council recently came up with a youth needs survey to find out what types of changes students would like to see in the area. More than 1,100 students responded, and the YAC is offering a $9,000 grant to any local nonprofit organizations and schools to address youth needs.
We looked at previous YAC surveys and we chose the most relevant questions off of those, and we also looked at our personal experiences at school and what we saw were the biggest issues among our youth.
The survey found that some of the biggest concerns among youth are smoking, drugs, and alcohol, and teens want to see more recreational programs to counteract these concerns. The deadline to submit a grant application is February 17th. A public viewing was held today at St. Peter Cathedral for those who wish to pay their respects to Bishop Mark Schmidt. The bishop's body was received by Bishop Alexander Sample, Bishop Garland, and clergy at 10 o'clock this morning. A rosary was prayed between 3 p.m. and the vigil prayer service took place at 7 p.m. A funeral mass will be held tomorrow at 11 a.m. at the cathedral. Schmidt previously served as bishop of the Catholic Diocese of Marquette from 1978 to 1992. Thanks to generous donations from the community, children at Teaching Family Homes in Marquette will be able to unwrap their own Christmas gifts this year. Still, the home and their Adopt a Child program are both in need of donations. The nonprofit organization helps troubled children and families in the region. It houses about 100 children of all ages. Officials say items like bedding, towels, monetary donations, and various event passes are required to help keep the home running. To find out how and where you can donate, visit our website, UpperMichiganSource.com. Fresh off her appearance on Fox Network's The X Factor, Houghton's Hannah Bethel is back in the UP. She'll be performing at Brownstone Hall tomorrow night at 7 in Atlantic Mine. The 22-year-old singer and songwriter moved to Nashville 3 years ago. There she attended music school for 2 years, but then decided to spend the last year and a half focusing on her music career full-time. Bethel describes her musical style as country with a soulful pop-like feel, and she says she's been performing for almost a decade.
I started playing guitar and writing songs when I was about 14, and I just started playing around here locally at fairs and venues and cafes, and then it kind of spread out, and it just made so much sense for my heart, and I couldn't imagine doing anything else.
Bethel is currently working on her second project. It's expected to be released by spring of 2012. If you'd like more details about Bethel or her upcoming show, go to our website and click on the news story. In our Daily Pulse question, we'd like to know what you think about the sentence handed down in the case of Barry Bonds, the former baseball star accused of lying to a grand jury about steroid use. Bonds will not have to serve time behind bars for obstruction of justice. Instead, he faces 2 years of probation. So tonight, the Daily Pulse, we're asking, should Barry Bonds have gone to prison for lying under oath about his steroid use? To share your thoughts with us, visit our website, UpperMichiganSource.com, and vote in the Daily Pulse. We'll have the results of tonight's question later in our newscast. Coming up tonight on Fox UP News, the vote on the payroll tax cut extension has been postponed until Tuesday. We'll have the latest. And the Army private accused of being responsible for the largest leak of classified information in U.S. history was back in court today. Details next.
This is meteorologist Carl Bonak. A cold front passed through early today, and temperatures, well, the highest was early, actually during the wee hours of the morning. 35, the low as of a late evening, afternoon. 24 degrees, 25 and 10. The averages way above those, especially that daytime high. Put it all together, our average high through the 19th, 28. The average low just about 16. That puts us about 1 3/4 degrees above the long-term average. Temperatures look to stay relatively mild. We'll give you the forecast for the week before Christmas in a few minutes.
The Dickinson difference is that we are a small hospital that provides big-time care.
From the surgeons to the dietitians to the chaplain to the nursing staff, everybody has the goal.
The House threw a wrench into holiday votes tonight. The vote on the payroll tax cut extension is now postponed until Tuesday. Speaker John Boehner says the House and Senate need to sit down and work things out. Fox News White House correspondent Mike Emanuel has the details.
There's a disagreement between the two chambers. We sit down in a conference and resolve those differences. And that's exactly what I believe the House will do.
Yet the message from Majority Leader Harry Reid, who thought an 89-10 vote in the Senate, which included 39 Republicans, meant this issue would be finished until February, responded, quote, Senator McConnell and I negotiated a compromise at Speaker Boehner's request. I will not reopen negotiations until the House follows through and passes this agreement that was negotiated by Republican leaders and supported by 90% of the Senate. A vast majority of House Republicans thought it was a lousy deal, told the Speaker on a conference call Saturday, and expressed their concerns today.
You got to be kidding me. There is no certainty in a 2-month policy coming out of Washington, D.C.
Here we are once again, punting the issues that affect America to the month of February. That's irresponsible, in my strongest opinion.
Boehner says he wasn't in favor of the Senate plan. He just liked that a key provision Republicans fought for was included.
What I was outlining was the fact that having the Keystone Pipeline in here was a success. But I raised concerns about the 2-month process from the moment that I heard about it.
The policy-neutral National Payroll Reporting Consortium has written this letter to key lawmakers about the 60-day extension. Quote, "We believe there is insufficient lead time to accommodate the proposal embodied in H.R. 3630. In our opinion, enactment of H.R. 3630 as written could create substantial problems, confusion, and costs affecting a significant percentage of U.S. employers and employees." House Republicans also noted President Obama said he would prefer a full-year extension over the 60-day Senate plan.
While this agreement is for 2 months, it is my expectation, in fact, it would be inexcusable for Congress not to further extend this middle-class tax cut for the rest of the year.
While President Obama waits, Speaker Boehner says members of the House and Senate need to sit down and work this out. On Capitol Hill, Mike Emanuel, Fox News.
Army Private Bradley Manning was back in a military courtroom for the 4th day of preliminary hearings. The 24-year-old is accused of leaking hundreds of thousands of secret government documents to the whistleblower website WikiLeaks. An Army investigator testified he found more than 10,000 downloaded diplomatic cables on Manning's PC. Spectators and reporters were forcibly removed from the courtroom when the hearing dealt with classified information. The White House says it's too early to tell whether the death of Kim Jong-il opens the door for better U.S. relations with North Korea. Spokesman Jay Carney also says the longtime dictator's death has not spurred any additional concerns about North Korea's nuclear ambitions beyond those the U.S. already had. Carney said the Obama administration has been in touch with South Korea, Japan, China, and Russia since North Korea announced Kim's death. He says the U.S. will continue to monitor developments and succession plans in North Korea. The FBI says violent and property crimes reported to police are dropping despite tough economic times. An FBI report released today says violent crimes reported in the first half of 2011 were down 6.4% compared to the first 6 months of 2010. The number of property crimes, including burglary, larceny, and vehicle theft, decreased 3.7%. All 4 offenses in the violent crime category dropped as well. Robbery experienced the biggest drop of 7.7%. The report is based on information from more than 12,500 law enforcement agencies.
Stormy weather in the southern plains with blizzard warnings for portions of the Texas Panhandle, southeast Colorado, into extreme northwest Oklahoma and southwestern Kansas. For us, well, there's a new warm front streaking through central Canada. Behind it, relatively mild Pacific air. It looks like that sort of air mass will hold for much of this week. We'll talk about it next.
Cliff's Muff.
Temperatures held up by a lot of cloudiness, still 30 at Menominee. It's 24 Houghton Hancock, 27 at Copper Harbor, Ontonagon, Lance, as well as Iron Mountain, 29 at Munising along the shore of Lake Superior, and 26 at Iron River. Here's what's going on. Big area of high pressure now in eastern South Dakota, gradually building toward us. There's been some breaks in the overcast. The breaks should increase during the night as this high gets closer with its dry air. Down to the south, the front that passed through is already well to our southeast, and back to the west in the Texas Panhandle, there is low pressure. But off to the northwest, temperatures aren't all that cold. This air again is of Pacific origin, 14 at Pickle Lake, 18 at Kenora, 12 at Grand Forks. Here's the storm down to the south. Snow through much of the northwestern portion of Kansas right now. Rain farther east. This system is moving to the east-northeast, but it'll weaken with time, and it won't get far enough north to affect us. We're watching more clouds moving in from the Pacific into western Canada. That's where the storm track is, and that's why we still have mild Pacific air with a westerly flow aloft. The high moves off to our east tomorrow. It still looks like we'll have plenty of sunshine, a rarity for this time of the year. Here's that storm down to the south. It weakens as it moves toward Chicago, maybe a little light snow there. For us on Wednesday, as the next front from the north slowly works toward us, skies will cloud over. Then Thursday, the front will be by us. It looks like a day roughly similar to today in that we should have a fair amount of clouds, maybe a bit of light snow. The really cold air stays to the north. Back with your forecast details next.
Check out the new Best Bets on UpperMichiganSource.com.
Tomorrow at a glance, here's what we're expecting. It looks like, again, sunny skies, at least for the most part. There may be some clouds early as these clouds are slow to clear out. High temperatures will range from near 30 into the 30s. Southwest winds will gradually increase. Your forecast overnight, again, we're hoping on, at least banking on partial clearing, and that's why we think it could get as cold as 10 degrees along the Wisconsin line if it clears, and warmer to the north with temperatures around 20 near Lake Superior. Winds will be variable. They'll back toward the west, then southwest tomorrow and increase, highs near 30 into the 30s. Your Fox 5-day forecast, temperatures will still be mild right through Thursday, then will cool down some at the end of the week. Only light snows expected.
Carl, I know we're only doing 5 days in the forecast, but the question everybody wants answered, white Christmas, yes or no?
Well, we do have, where we have the snow, it's going to be a white Christmas because it's not going to get that warm. But places along the Lake Superior shore, like for instance Marquette and parts of the southern UP, it doesn't look too good.
All right. Thank you very much, Carl.
Right.
Holmes and Watson are back as London's greatest detectives for another crime-fighting adventure. The sequel, Sherlock Holmes: A Game of Shadows, topped the box office this weekend, raking in $40 million. Box office results start us off in tonight's buzz. Alvin and the Chipmunks Chipwrecked took the second spot with $23.5 million. With $13 million in ticket sales, Mission Impossible: Ghost Protocol came in third. New Year's Eve came in fourth with just over $7 million. And rounding out the top five was The Sitter with about $4 million. TMZ is reporting actor and director Clint Eastwood is moving to a new medium, reality TV. The Hollywood legend will reportedly appear on the E! Network on a series following his wife Dinah, their 15-year-old daughter Morgan. Eastwood's other daughter, aspiring actress Francesca Fisher, will also be on the show. Sources tell TMZ that the series will explore what it's like to live in a family of Hollywood royalty. Country singer Mindy McCready was in an Arkansas courtroom Friday. The case involved McCready's 5-year-old son, Xander. There's a custody battle between McCready and her mother, Gail Inge. Inge has had custody of him since 2007, while McCready has fought a public battle against drug addiction. Now McCready alleges her mom has been abusive towards Xander, a claim her mother denies. Right now, the little boy is in foster care. Another hearing is scheduled after the holidays. It's time for our Youpers on YouTube video. Tonight we see how a little dog reacts to the season's first snow. Let's take a look. You can see this dog is actually enjoying himself out there. He's hopping around, just having a good time. JDiz86 said this is a Yorkie mix who clearly doesn't mind the cold. Remember, we want your videos, so if you have some on your camera or cell phone and would like to see them on our newscast, visit our website, UpperMichiganSource.com, and upload them to YouperTube. Or from your cell phone, address the message to share@YouperTube.com. Our Fox UP Facebook fans wanted to know, what is the secret for a happy marriage? What does it take to have a long-lasting marriage? Well, nearly half of all marriages in the U.S. end in divorce. Experts say that's because marriage can't survive on love alone. They say there are 4 things that define a healthy marriage: commitment, respect, intimacy, and forgiveness. And the idea that opposites attract, well, it might not actually be true.
At a certain level, you have to reach a point where yes, we have our differences, but on the most fundamental things of who we are, what we believe, we're in concert with each other.
Experts say struggling couples should not be afraid to seek out help. Outside perspective on a relationship can help strengthen it. Still to come tonight on Fox UP News, the results of our Daily Pulse question. Should Barry Bonds have gone to prison for lying under oath about steroid use? And in our postcard from the UP, some scenes of Carp River.
Closed captioning is brought to you by Culligan.
It's time for the results of our Daily Pulse question. Tonight we asked, should Barry Bonds have gone to prison for lying under oath about his steroid use? Here's how you voted. 64% of you said yes, while 36% said no. Nicole McConnell commented on our Facebook page, I believe he should have. If it was just another Joe on the street that lied, that person would have went to jail. But the judicial system gives the rich and famous people a break from prison time. Jim Simpkin commented on our website, so the consensus is to put someone behind bars for abusing their body and then lying about it? What has happened to personal freedom in this country? Thanks to everyone who voted and commented tonight, and be sure to vote in our next Daily Pulse question. You can find the Daily Pulse on our website, uppermichigansource.com. Carl, another look at weather?
Looks like temperatures relatively mild for this time of the year, and it still looks like a rarity. I'm always skeptical to forecast mostly sunny skies, but it looks like a fair amount of sun tomorrow as high pressure dominates.
No one's going to complain about sun, Carl.
No.
All right. Thank you very much. In tonight's postcard from the UP, we leave you with some scenes of the Carp River. Thank you so much for watching Fox UP News. Join us again tomorrow night at 10.